Chapter 40. Kill him. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly. He pointed towards the man dressed in a black pow and said coldly. The 400-bladed troops' engines were instantly adjusted to the highest level. With a terrifying speed surpassing that of a galloping horse, they rushed towards the man dressed in a black pow. Dark mist. The man dressed in a black pow took out a black staff. He launched the staff spell. A black mist suddenly appeared, at once completely shrouding Yang Feng and the others. Haste! A magic radiance shone on the man dressed in a black pow. He tapped his foot, his body instantly shot backwards. With a speed far surpassing that of the bladed troops, he fled into the distance. Start the infrared scanning system, start the thermal imaging system, start the sound wave detection system. The bladed troops quickly launched the scanning system. Their electronic cigarettes surged with countless streams of data. A gust of wind blew past. The Sky Knight Gria instantly erupted with his fastest speed. With a terrifying speed of up to 180 kilometers per hour, he shot towards Yang Feng's location, leaving behind a trail of afterimages. Sky Knights, just like official level 1 warlocks, broke through the limits of humans and began to evolve towards extraordinary life forms. Gria's full eruption of speed could reach up to 180 kilometers per hour. However, such a terrifying eruption of speed, he could only maintain it for 1 minute. Under that terrifying eruption of speed, Gria only needed 2 seconds to cross a distance of 100 m and appear in front of Yang Feng. He only needed a single sword strike to behead the mortal Yang Feng. Boom! Along with a loud sound, an enormous crate beside Yang Feng suddenly burst open. Amidst the flying countless pieces of wood, a level 7-bladed troop suddenly erupted. With lightning speed, it instantly pounced towards Gria. The alloy battle blade in its hand also fiercely chopped towards Gria from different directions. Fuck! What kind of freak is this? Gria's complexion suddenly changed greatly. In a flash, a formidable life force erupted. He brandished the enchanted blades in his hands and unleashed the martial skill Bloody Cross Slash. A bright and sharp Bloody Cross Slash radiance with a tyrannical aura fiercely chopped at the level 7-bladed troop. The level 7-bladed troop's chest flashed with a radiance. A level 1 protective cover instantly enveloped its body. It was expressionless, letting the Bloody Cross Slash hit its protective cover. The Bloody Cross Slash broke open the level 7-bladed troop's protective cover and fiercely chopped at the level 7-bladed troop, leaving behind a 3 centimeters deep blade mark. Almost at the same time, the level 7-bladed troop brandished its alloy saber and chopped, instantly chopping Gria's lower body into 8 pieces. When the black-robed man saw Gria die miserably in the hands of the level 7-bladed troop, his heart turned ice cold. What mechanical golem is that? Even a Sky Knight could be instantly killed. The Steel Lord had even sent such a treasure to protect his nephew? Damn it. A mechanical golem that could kill a Sky Knight was priceless in Tyrannid subcontinent. Even if a level 2 warlock obtained such a treasure, he still wouldn't easily lend it to others, but rather would use it as a trump card in battle. Boom, boom. Along with 2 loud sounds, the 2 crates instantly split open. 2 tall gunner troops at once rushed out from the crates. The Vulcan cannons mounted on their bodies aimed at the warlock in a black robe. Countless streams of information surged within their eyes. Not good. Warping force field. A touch of an ominous premonition immediately welled up in the heart of the warlock in a black robe. An incomparably formidable warping force field instantly shrouded him. The Vulcan cannons bombarded the warping force field. Their trajectories were directly warped and shot towards the surroundings of the warlock in a black robe. But the Vulcan cannons had a firing speed of 600 rounds per second. The 2 level 7 gunner troops were equipped with a total of 8 6-barreled Vulcan cannons. Their firing speed was as high as 4,800 rounds per second. Coupled with the trajectory optimization and lock-on of the super chips calculations, the majority of the cannonballs hit the warlock in a black robe. The deadlock lasted for less than a second, before the warping force field of the warlock in a black robe directly collapsed. His lower body was also torn to shreds by the terrifying Vulcan cannonballs. Gars watched the warlock in a black robe's lower body turn into a bloody mist. His eyes flashed with incredulity. Instakill. Instakill, a level 1 warlock. Heavens, am I not seeing things? This is Steel City's mechanical golem legion. Truly terrifying. The aristocratic youngster's eyes also flashed with incredulity, their gazes brimming with envy and traces of jealousy as they watched the two Gundam-like level 7 gunner troops. Once the warlock in a black robe died, the entire bandit army at once fell apart and dispersed. Yang Feng only let the level 4 mechanical bladed troops kill the bandits. He didn't dispatch the level 7 gunner troops. The offensive power of level 7 gunner troops was extremely terrifying, but their ammunition consumption was also extremely huge. Although Yang Feng had transported a lot of cannonballs, but it was only enough to be used on warlocks, those ordinary humans could be dealt with by the close combat level 4 bladed troops. The Shizu could also manufacture battle robots with unlimited ammunition. But the technological level of battle robots with unlimited ammunition was too high-end. It wasn't something that Yang Feng could manufacture at present. Therefore, when those powerful destructive level 7 gunner troops, level 7 artillery troops and other battle robots were far away from the headquarters of Black City, Yang Feng couldn't easily use them due to the logistical pressure. Relatively speaking, the bladed troops were his main battle force. A rather beautiful aristocratic young lady Bella with a head full of short blue hair and a few freckles on her face said towards Yang Feng with extreme envy, "Yang Feng Dage, your uncle is too good to you." The rest of the aristocratic youngsters also revealed traces of envy. In order to protect a blood relative, he dispatched a mechanical legion capable of exterminating an official warlock. This kind of extravagance, many large warlock families wouldn't do such a thing. Many large warlock families' patriarchs' sons and daughters would at most have a few level 3 apprentice warlocks or great knights or earth knight rank experts as bodyguards. Only some formidable level 3 warlocks or great warlock forces might have a level 1 warlock willingly become their child's bodyguard. Yang Feng said with a slight smile, "That's because I'm uncle's only relative in this world." Gars suddenly pointed towards the bladed troop and asked full of curiosity, "Yang Feng Dage, are those carriages filled with such mechanical golems?" The aristocratic youngsters' gazes all at once concentrated on Yang Feng, their gazes brimming with curiosity and excitement. Chapter 41. This time, Yang Feng's caravan had up to 500 carriages. If all of them were level 7 bladed troops or level 7 gunner troops, then it would definitely be an incomparably terrifying force. Even a level 3 warlock might not be a match for this mechanical legion. Only a great warlock, who had completely surpassed the limits of mortals, might be able to destroy a mechanical legion of 500 level 7 mechanical golems by themselves. Yang Feng played it down, only a part of it. Those aristocratic youngsters at once revealed indescribable envy and jealousy in their eyes. Among the 500 carriages, even if there were only 20 with bladed troops and gunner troops, that would already be an extremely terrifying force. In any principality, it would be a strategic force that would decide the fate of the state. For Yang Feng to be able to use such power at will, the strength of his power far surpassed that of those aristocratic youngsters who were originally people above others. After defeating all of the Hunting Tooth Wilderness's bandit allied forces, those bladed troops began to clean up the battlefield, collecting all the materials that could be collected. The weapons, equipment, and money of those bandits were all added up. It was also not a small amount. After the battlefield was cleaned up, the huge caravan began to slowly move forward. Night fell. Darkness shrouded the earth. More than 10 kilometers behind Yang Feng's caravan, there was a simple large tent that occupied an extremely vast area. Inside the tent, the severed heads of countless highwaymen formed a small mountain. At the top of the mountain floated a mechanical ball the size of a wash basin. Countless tiny mechanical tentacles extended out from the mechanical ball, piercing into the heads of the highwaymen and reading their memories. Hunting Tooth Wilderness's bandits came from all over the world. Their memories also contained a lot of useful information and knowledge. In Tyrannid subcontinent, warlocks grasped everything, monopolized all knowledge. Any knowledge was very precious. Therefore, after Yang Feng beheaded his enemies, He would read their memories and record all of the enemy's memories into the database, enriching the database's resources. The richer the data resources in the database, the more accurate the various deductions would be. Furthermore, through the memories of those bandits that came from all over the world, Yang Feng could understand Tyrannid subcontinent's local customs, taboos, power distribution, and other information. Dragon blood. Really lucky, this guy actually carried such a treasure on him. Yang Feng fiddled with the crystal bottle containing dragon blood and his eyes flashed with a whiff of excitement. The dragon blood potion was an extremely rare and precious potion. The defensive power of the crystal bottle containing the dragon blood potion was also astonishing. Furthermore, it was not hit directly by the machine gun, which was why it was lucky enough to survive. Yang Feng handed the dragon blood elixir to an octopus-like robot with many tentacles and said, "A 3796, can you synthesize this dragon blood elixir?" Number 3790 SIXS consciousness could descend onto any robot equipped with a smart chip. An opening appeared on the head of the octopus robot, and a small glass straw extended from inside to absorb a small portion of the dragon blood elixir before withdrawing it. Immediately after, a large amount of data flowed from its eyes. Begin analysis. Analyze the feasibility of the analysis. This potion can be analyzed and synthesized. Start modeling analysis. Analysis progress 0.1%. With my current computing power, it is estimated that I will be able to completely analyze the potion in 10 days. One message after another emerged on Yang Feng's eyeglasses. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a whiff of ecstasy. It can be synthesized. That's great. Dragon blood elixir was an extremely rare alchemical potion. Black Cottage's Master Bonnie had always hoped to obtain a dragon blood elixir, yet he couldn't buy it. Only the 6 great forces or some formidable forces with great warlocks could refine such a treasure like dragon blood elixir. Once dragon blood elixir could be synthesized, then Yang Feng could use a large amount of dragon blood elixir to strengthen his body and promote his strength. Yang Feng inquired and very quickly investigated the origins of that warlock wearing a black POW, Black Dragon Pagoda. I thought that it was Savage Claw's Momo. I didn't expect that the assassin came from Black Dragon Pagoda. It seems like a lot of people want me dead. Yang Feng's embodiment of the Steel Lord recommended him to join Warlock College Antalya and obtain the admission qualifications. But in Tyrannid subcontinent, there were also a lot of forces that weren't willing to see Yang Feng join Warlock College Antalya. After all, Yang Feng's embodiment of the Steel Lord had the strength to break the balance between the 6 great forces. Although Yang Feng didn't want to make such a big scene, but his cultivation aptitude was really too poor. If it wasn't for his status as a blood relative of Steel City's City Lord who recommended him, then it would be impossible for him to enter Warlock College Antalya, so much so that it would be impossible for him to join any warlock force. Yang Feng examined the bandit chief Gria's important memories and suddenly creased his eyebrows. An ancient god's treasure trove. It's even related to Snow White Pagoda. This Gria really isn't simple. This is troublesome. Gria's original name was Kinea. He was a sky knight with battle prowess comparable to that of a level 1 warlock. Such an expert, no matter where he went, would be recruited and enjoy endless glory, splendor, and wealth. However, he actually entered the Hunting Tooth Wasteland and became a bandit leader in the Hunting Tooth Wasteland. That was because he provoked the Snow White Pagoda and obtained a secret regarding the ancient god's treasure from the Snow White Pagoda. Snow White Pagoda was a peak force in Tyrannid subcontinent second only to the 6 great forces. Snow White Pagoda's current pagoda master Snow White Madam was a great warlock rank expert. When Kinea provoked Snow White Pagoda, he could only choose to flee and hide in Hunting Tooth Wilderness where dragons and snakes mingle and conceal his identity, becoming Gria and establishing a not small foundation. Kinea used a secret treasure capable of resisting divination to conceal himself from Snow White Pagoda's eyes and ears. Now that secret treasure was chopped to pieces by Yang Feng's mechanical bladed troops, it no longer had the power to resist Snow White Pagoda's divination magic detection. Yang Feng didn't know when Snow White Pagoda's divination magic detection would occur and he would become Snow White Pagoda's target. Gods had a lifespan by far surpassing that of other life forms. Even the lowest rank of feeble divine force rank gods had a lifespan of more than 1 million years. Therefore, in this world, there were a lot of experts that chose to become gods in order to live longer. In this world where warlocks controlled everything, becoming a god was extremely dangerous. Basically, once one became a god, then they would be killed by the main continent's peak warlocks and then be reduced to alchemy materials. Those that chose to become gods, in order to resurrect, would get a few treasure troves outside of their divine countries. After resurrecting, they would retrieve the treasure troves to quickly restore their strength. The ancient god's treasure trove that Kinea knew about was a treasure trove hidden outside of 7th Warlock Dynasty's divine country by a god. Chapter 42. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly as he thought slowly. With Gria separated by a layer, it shouldn't be that easy to find me, right? Divination spells were mysterious and strange. It wasn't something a mortal like Yang Feng could resist. Only after obtaining a secret treasure that could resist divination spells or after promoting to a level 1 warlock, would Yang Feng be able to resist the power of divination spells. For the current Yang Feng, the treasure trove of the ancient god wasn't too important. His current top priority was to practice cultivation and promote to a level 1 warlock. Every god rank expert possessed terrifying strength by far surpassing that of a warlock. The treasure trove left behind by such an expert would definitely be extremely dangerous. Yang Feng didn't want to be cursed and killed as soon as he entered the treasure trove of the ancient god. 2 secret treasures, not bad. Yang Feng looked at the 2 secret treasures and his eyes flashed with a whiff of satisfaction. Secret treasures were the general term for the extraordinary tools refined by warlock alchemists. According to the definition of warlock dynasties, even if it was a divine tool used by gods, it was still only a high-level secret treasure. Secret treasures were extremely rare. The majority of them were in the hands of official warlocks. After Yang Feng captured Black Cottage, he only obtained 2 level 1 secret treasures and 5 level 0 secret treasures. After getting rid of the 2 level 2 warlocks, he only obtained 1 level 2 secret treasure. Blood Blade, level 1 secret treasure. Hardness +1, armor penetration +1, magic penetration +1, sharpness +1. Yang Feng picked up the blade used by Gria. A series of information immediately appeared above his eyeglasses. Black Staff, level 1 secret treasure. Additional level 1 spell Dark Mist 0/1. Requires recharging. Yang Feng's hand touched the staff in the hands of the warlock dressed in a black pow. A series of information once again appeared. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly. Another secret treasure that requires recharging. With my current strength, I'm basically unable to use it. Those secret treasures that required recharging could only be used after being recharged, and in order to recharge them, one must understand and master that spell. Level 1 spells were still too difficult for Yang Feng. Among secret treasures, apart from recharging secret treasures, there were also secret treasures with perpetual automatic recovery. Those secret treasures could automatically recover a certain amount of spells every day. They didn't require recharging and could be used by anyone. This kind of artifact was much more precious than a rechargeable artifact, and it was also much rarer. This bloody battle saber is good, but compared to a pistol, its attack range is too close. For the current me, using a pistol is much more convenient and simpler than using this bloody blade. Yang Feng picked up the bloody blade and brandished it a few times, thinking somewhat regretfully. No matter how high one's martial arts were, one spear strike was enough to knock them down. Even if it was a knight rank or a great knight rank expert, as long as they were hit by the 9mm large caliber silver flash powder pistol in Yang Feng's hands, then even if they didn't die, they would be crippled. If Yang Feng used the bloody blade to fight with people, then even a low-level warrior could directly kill him. After the majority of the formidable bandits in the Hunting Fangs Wilderness were wiped out by Yang Feng in that battle, the entire Hunting Fangs Wilderness no longer had any unostentatious bandits that dared to provoke this huge and tyrannical convoy. After smoothly passing through the Hunting Fangs wilderness, the convoy passed through several cities without any disturbances, before arriving at Warlock College Antalia's St. Colin City. This is St. Colin City? It's so majestic. Yang Feng was below St. Colin City. He raised his head and looked at the incomparably majestic giant city, his eyes brimming with shock. St. Colin City's city wall was 100 meters tall. It was entirely cast from steel rock. The city wall encircled St. Colin City. Above St. Colin City's city wall, there was a Warlock Pagoda every few kilometers. The Warlock Pagodas formed St. Colin City's impregnable line of defense. Such a majestic giant city like St. Colin City, even on Earth with an extremely advanced degree of modernization, there were still very few countries that could build it. Gars said proudly, "Of course, St. Colin City is one of Tyrandot subcontinent's 6 great miracle cities. Reportedly, these 6 great miracle cities are the legacies of the 7th dynasty. Even if placed on the main continent, these 6 great miracle cities wouldn't be considered to be too backward." Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a radiance. He mused silently. In other words, in the main continent, a city like St. Colin City would be nothing. This world's warlocks are really formidable. Wait a moment, please show me your passage certificate. A soldier guarding the city gate stopped Yang Feng. He took a glance at the 6 m tall mechanical bladed troop standing beside Yang Feng. His complexion changed slightly and his voice became slightly respectful. A person guarded by a 6 m tall mechanical golem was definitely a big shot that the soldier couldn't afford to provoke. But when he saw the long convoy behind Yang Feng, the soldier could only brace himself and step forward to stop Yang Feng. Yang Feng waved his hand, as Yang Feng's temporary butler Jim stepped forward and handed a certificate of communication to the soldier. "Please enter." That certificate of communication was issued by the Level 2 Warlock Eudora. After the soldier examined the certificate of communication, his complexion changed slightly and he gave way. Once he entered St. Colin City, Yang Feng saw a wide and flat passageway appear before his eyes. Luxurious carriages and sports cars made of steel, which were 90% similar to modern vehicles, were driving on the roads that were comparable to modern roads. Yang Feng looked at those vehicles that resembled Earth's sports cars. His eyes flashed with a whiff of astonishment and he exclaimed, "Those vehicles, why are they different from carriages?" Gars introduced somewhat enviously, "Those are magic sports cars. One of 6th Warlock Dynasty's alchemy products. These big guys run faster than carriages and are very safe. But not to mention the high cost, their power comes from magic stones. Every 200 kilometers they need to consume a magic stone. Only official warlocks or peak aristocrats could afford to drive such magic sports cars. An inferior magic stone was equivalent to 100 gold coins. Every 200 kilometers they needed to consume a magic stone. Such a high consumption wasn't something that ordinary aristocrats could afford. Yang Feng stared at that magic sports car and thought silently, "Magic sports car. Magic carpets. This world's warlocks are really high-end." On both sides of the wide and flat road, there were many 5-meter-tall trees with glass-like translucent shells. These trees were emitting bursts of fragrance. Gars pointed at the trees on both sides of the road and introduced them to Yang Feng as well as those lesser aristocratic youngsters. "These trees are sunlight trees. These trees were transplanted from a plain with countless rare and unusual trees by 7th Warlock Dynasty. After these sunlight trees absorb enough sunlight during the day, their fruits will bloom with beautiful radiance at night, brightly illuminating St. Colin City, making it look like a city that never sleeps." Chapter 43. When Bella and the other aristocratic youngsters heard Gar's introduction, they all revealed a trace of fascination. Ordinary states weren't as extravagant as St. Colin City, being able to casually transplant such a precious plant like the sun-radiant tree to both sides of the road. Apart from St. Colin City and the other 6 miracle cities as well as some first-rate warlock forces, the majority of Tyrandot subcontinent was at the level of medieval Western Europe. Bella and the other aristocratic youngsters were already much more knowledgeable than many commoners, but compared to a second-generation warlock like Gars, they still looked like country bumpkins. St. Colin City was orderly, the roads were unobstructed, everyone was dressed in gorgeous clothes and had ruddy complexions. Every building within the city had its own unique style. Many large buildings were brimming with artistic beauty. The entire city didn't have the muddy ground, livestock excrement and sewage flowing everywhere like ordinary cities. It was even more beautiful, clean, lively and flourishing than Earth's modern European cities. After Yang Feng's huge convoy of 2,000 guards entered St. Colin City, it also attracted the attention of countless people, especially the up to 6 m tall mechanical bladed troops and other battle robots. It attracted the gazes of countless people. Mechanical golems weren't rare in Tyrandot subcontinent, but the majority of those mechanical golems were in the hands of official warlocks. It was very difficult for ordinary people to see such huge battle mechanical golems like the bladed troops. Although St. Colin City was a place where every inch of land was worth its weight in gold, but after negotiating with Warlock College Antalya, Yang Feng still used the name of Steel Lord Yang Yi to purchase a small manor within St. Colin City after spending 10,000 magic stones. Yang Feng and his entourage entered the small manor and rested for the night. Only then did they head towards Warlock College Antalya under Gar's lead. Warlock College Antalya was located in the center of St. Colin City. It was a city within a city with a diameter of up to 30 kilometers. Within a kilometer from Warlock College Antalya's entrance, there were shady trees and grass everywhere. There wasn't any sign of human habitation. And outside that kilometer, there were countless shops bustling with activity. Today was the day that Warlock College Antalya recruited new students. The road leading to Warlock College Antalya was packed with people. Mechanical golems. What a huge mechanical golem. Who's that person? There's actually such a terrifying mechanical golem acting as his bodyguard. Suddenly, a wave of discussion came from the crowd, and then they separated. Under the escort of 8 level 7 primary battle robots, Yang Feng and his party arrived at the entrance of Warlock College Antalya. The nearby crowd looked at the battle robots beside Yang Feng with awe in their eyes. The level 7 bladed troops are 6 m tall and equipped with many tyrannical weapons. At a glance, one could understand that unless one possessed the battle prowess of a warlock rank, one would not be able to defeat these big guys. The people who came under the protection of these steel monsters were definitely important people who could not be offended. Among the crowd, a blonde, blue-eyed, voluptuous, and beautiful 16-year-old young lady fiercely glared at Yang Feng and whispered full of resentment. He's the only blood relative of the Steel Lord. A middle-aged man beside the beautiful girl whispered, "Your Highness, please don't act rashly. The Steel Lord was a madman. If you give him an excuse, our Fernandro family will be in danger." The beautiful princess's eyes flashed with confidence as she said coldly, "I know. I won't act rashly, but I definitely won't let him have an easy time." Under the escort of the 8 primary battle robots, Yang Feng and his party arrived at a distance of 1,000 m from the entrance of Warlock College Antalya before stopping. Warlock College Antalya's rules were very strict. Only youngsters participating in Warlock College Antalya's test could enter that 1,000 m road. All servants and bodyguards, once they stepped onto that road, would be heavily punished if light, or directly killed or captured if heavy, used as alchemy materials. Under Gar's lead, Yang Feng followed the nearly 10,000 youngsters from southern states' alliance towards Warlock College Antalya in large strides. What a big tree! Once Yang Feng arrived at Warlock College Antalya's entrance, he saw that on top of a mountain in the depths of Warlock College Antalya, there was a towering tree with countless branches, exuding traces of rainbow-like radiance. Gar said proudly, "This is a large energy-absorbing ancient tree. It's a kind of super ancient tree unique to sunlight tree plane. To be able to absorb the drifting energy in space and condense a magic crystal pool, even in the main continent, it's also a rare treasure. If it wasn't for that large energy-absorbing ancient tree already fusing with Warlock College Antalya, then I'm afraid that it would have already been taken away by the main continent's experts." Magic stones, these ores with extraordinary energy, were divided into 4 grades: inferior magic stones, intermediate magic stones, superior magic stones, and top-notch magic stones. The exchange rate for each grade was 100. 1. Above top-notch magic stones, there were still treasures like magic crystals. That large energy-absorbing ancient tree could absorb the drifting energy in space and condense a magic crystal pool. Its value could be imagined. In Tyrandot subcontinent, there were still a lot of forces with great warlock rank experts, but those forces were by far inferior to Warlock College Antalya and the other 6 great forces, precisely because those forces' foundations were by far inferior to those of the 6 great forces. This large energy-absorbing ancient tree was one of Warlock College Antalya's foundations. At Warlock College Antalya's entrance, there were 10 tables arranged. In front of each table sat a level 1 warlock emitting formidable fluctuations of life. On top of each table was placed a crystal. It was used to test the spirit aptitude of those youngsters who were eager to enter the school. An old man dressed in a black pow, with an indifferent expression on his face, said, 15 years old, inferior level, 3 spirit aptitude. Unqualified. The complexion of a youngster dressed in gorgeous attire changed slightly. He clenched his teeth and left with a helpless expression. Warlock College Antalya's enrollment was very strict. Only those with inferior level 4 spirit aptitude could be accepted. Some small warlock forces, however, would accept people as long as they had an intermediate level 2 spirit aptitude. 14 years old, inferior level 4 spirit aptitude, qualified. 16 years old, superior level 4 spirit aptitude, qualified. 15 years old, inferior level 5 spirit aptitude, qualified. 15 years old, superior level 3 spirit aptitude, disqualified. Voices sounded one after another, pronouncing the fates of those youngsters from the Southern States Alliance. Those who were declared qualified had their eyebrows raised in joy, while those who were declared disqualified looked as if they had lost their parents, their complexions ashen. Chapter 44. 14 years old, superior level 6, qualified. Most of the youngsters' soul aptitudes were basically between level 4 and level 5. Suddenly, a somewhat excited voice sounded. Gazes concentrated on that blonde-haired, blue-eyed beautiful girl with a sexy figure. In front of that blonde-haired, blue-eyed beautiful girl, that level 1 warlock was also very excited, looking at that beautiful girl as if he was looking at a treasure. That seemingly 35 or 36 years old level 1 warlock had a gentle expression on his face as he handed a slip of paper to that beautiful girl and said softly, "I'm Nessie, an official level 1 warlock of Warlock College Antalya. If you want to become my personal disciple, then please contact me. This is my contact information." All the students looked at that beautiful girl with eyes brimming with envy. Nessie previously didn't show any respect to any of the students, yet he extended an olive branch to that beautiful girl. This showed that he was very optimistic about that beautiful girl's future. With superior level 6 soul aptitude, if there were no accidents and there were enough resources, promoting to a level 1 warlock was basically a sure thing. Only when one tried to break through to a level 2 warlock would there be a bottleneck and the possibility of failure. Such a student naturally made Nessie very tempted. For an ordinary student who wasn't even an apprentice warlock, to be able to obtain pointers from an official level 1 warlock was definitely an opportunity that they yearned for even in their dreams. This would allow them to take fewer detours and at the same time, obtain a lot of resources. That beautiful girl slightly bowed towards Nessie and respectfully declined, "Thank you for your consideration, Nessie Darren, I'll consider it." Nessie looked somewhat regretfully at that beautiful girl, then his gaze fell on the rest of the youngsters and he resumed his indifference. Next. Only then did the youngsters continue to go forward and have their aptitudes tested. Yang Feng had been observing. He discovered that most of those youngsters had level 4 soul aptitudes. There weren't many level 5 soul aptitudes. As for level 6 soul aptitudes, there was only that beautiful girl. After roughly 1,000 youngsters passed the test, suddenly there was a slight commotion. A 14-year-old lesser aristocrat youngster was tested to have an inferior level 6 soul aptitude. This time, that lesser aristocrat youngster directly chose to become a personal disciple of an official warlock. Most of the youngsters who chose to join Warlock College Antalya were eager to become a personal disciple of an official warlock. Only those geniuses who already had a strong background and had already reserved a mentor would choose to decline the recruitment of an official warlock. After several hundred more youngsters were tested, it was finally Yang Feng's turn. In front of Yang Feng was a male warlock about 36 or 37 years old. He took a look at Yang Feng, his eyebrows creased slightly as he said, "Warlock Antalya only recruits students under the age of 16. You're too old, you don't meet our requirements, leave." "I am the Steel Lord's nephew, Yang Feng. This is my special enrollment certificate." Yang Feng calmly took out a badge exuding faint fluctuations of magic and handed it to the warlock. After the warlock took the badge, he carefully looked at it for a while, then frowned slightly and said coldly, "Put your hand on the crystal." Yang Feng put his hand on the crystal. After a good while, the crystal released traces of faint gray radiance. 25 years old, inferior level, 1 soul innate talent, qualified. The warlock looked at the crystal. His complexion was very marvelous. He practically gnashed his teeth and said, "Inferior level, 1 soul innate talent. That was the worst innate talent, even many peasants couldn't compare to it. Only some premature babies, waists hollowed out by wine and women, injured in the womb, would have such inferior soul innate talent. Inferior level, 1 soul innate talent. How could such a person qualify? Such an innate talent, how could he qualify? Inferior level, 1 soul innate talent. That's the worst soul innate talent I've ever seen. My family's coachman's soul innate talent might be much better than his." Voices of discussion sounded from the side, all of them questioning the legitimacy of Yang Feng's admission. Warlock College Antalya was one of the 6 greatest warlock forces in Tyrannid subcontinent. People who wanted to enter Warlock College Antalya to study were as numerous as carps crossing the river, but each year, less than 1,000 people could enter Warlock College Antalya to practice the warlock path. Passing the soul innate talent test was only the first hurdle. There was still the second hurdle to be screened. Those students with level 5 soul innate talent or higher could stay in Warlock College Antalya to practice cultivation, while those with level 4 soul innate talent still needed to be screened and eliminated. If a place to practice cultivation in Warlock College Antalya was sold on the black market, even if it cost 1,000 gold coins, there would definitely be many greater aristocrats willing to buy it. Yang Feng's soul innate talent was only inferior level 1, yet he could directly enter Warlock College Antalya. It naturally aroused the jealousy and dissatisfaction of countless people. A large number of youngsters were denouncing Yang Feng. Yang Feng also thickened his face and pretended not to hear anything. However, it was clear that those official warlock teachers didn't have a good impression of Yang Feng. Each and every one of them looked on coldly, letting those youngsters denounce Yang Feng. A handsome, burly, blonde-haired youngster with blue eyes ridiculed extremely viciously, "These yellow-skinned monkeys from the East are really shameless. Inferior level, 1 soul innate talent, yet they still dare to come to Warlock College Antalya. I suggest that we should catch them, stuff them into cages, feed them bananas, and then throw them out." Yang Feng heard such vicious words, his eyebrows slightly creased. He turned around and looked in the direction of that youngster. He saw that blonde-haired, blue-eyed youngster and several youngsters with extraordinary temperaments standing beside that young girl with superior level 6 soul innate talent, forming a small group. That small group of youngsters looked at Yang Feng with ridicule and indifference, their eyes brimming with undisguised contempt and malice. Enter. 3790 SIXS database already stored the memories of many people. Yang Feng, through reading those people's memories, already had a good understanding of Tyrannid subcontinent's local conditions and customs. Tyrannid subcontinent society was dominated by Caucasians. In addition to Caucasians, there were also many Easterners from the eastern world of the continent. In Tyrannid subcontinent, there were many Caucasians who discriminated against Easterners, believing that the arrival of those Easterners robbed them of their employment opportunities, meritorious deeds, land, and the opportunity to become a warlock. At that time, ancestor Zhao Zhang's meritorious deeds for Fernandro Principality were enough to be conferred the title of Viscount, but under the suppression of other aristocrats, he could only barely be conferred the title of Baron. Furthermore, he was sent to the remote Red Leaf town because of the discrimination and suppression. It was very difficult for Easterners to integrate into the mainstream society. It might take several generations or even more than a dozen generations of effort to completely integrate into Turandot subcontinent's mainstream society. Chapter 45. Yang Feng with an inferior level 1 soul aptitude was actually able to join Warlock College Antalya. This filled the hearts of the youngsters with indignation. Although they also felt that the youngsters' words were extremely vicious, but most of them remained silent and watched everything with cold eyes. Yang Feng swept the youngster with a glance, his eyes flashed with a touch of killing intent, and he said coldly, "Who are you?" The youngster swept Yang Feng with a glance and said with a mocking smile, "I'm Ban Tanya, the third successor of Ditania Principality's Sanger clan." "What, yellow-skinned monkey, do you want to duel with me?" Yang Feng said with a faint smile, "I'm Steel City Master's only blood relative, Yang Feng, and also Steel City's sole successor. Because you insulted Steel City. Now, on behalf of Steel City, I officially declare war on your Ditania Principality. My Steel City's 100,000 mechanical golem legion will flatten your Ditania Principality and won't withdraw until your Sanger clan is completely exterminated." "What? Steel City is actually going to wage war with Ditania Principality? What kind of force is Steel City?" Steel City is the warlock group that recently defeated Fernandro Principality and killed an official level 2 warlock from Fernandro Principality? No. Reportedly, Viper's Eyes, White Elephant's Ivory and Fernandro clan were defeated by Steel City. Reportedly, nearly half of Fernandro clan's Blood Bat Knights were killed. The majority of the youngsters gathered in Warlock College Antalya came from the Southern States Coalition's various states' great aristocratic families. Many of them even came from some formidable warlock clans. Their knowledge and intelligence sources by far surpassed that of ordinary people. The news that Steel City defeated Fernandro Principality shocked the entire Southern States Coalition. Most of them were aware of this information. Only some ordinary students from commoner backgrounds didn't know this information. When Ban Tanya heard this, his complexion at once became extremely pale, his whole body trembled with fear. He originally thought that he could provoke Yang Feng into a duel. In that case, by relying on his strength as an advanced warrior, he was completely sure that he could defeat or even seriously injure Yang Feng, and then ruthlessly humiliate Yang Feng. He didn't expect that because of this sentence, his family would fall into a war with Steel City. Ban Tanya thought about it and regained a little calmness. His face was pale as he struggled to say loudly, "Impossible. You are only the nephew of the Steel Lord. Even if you are his only blood relative, you cannot represent the entire Steel City to declare war on our Ditania Duchy." The rest of the aristocratic youngsters also looked at Yang Feng with doubt in their eyes. Forgetting to fight leads to danger, and belligerence leads to death. Every powerful force was very cautious about starting a war. Those warmongering forces that constantly start wars will soon decline because of the war. Any successor of a warlock group, even if it was the first successor, couldn't represent a force to arbitrarily declare war on another warlock group. Under everyone's doubtful gazes, Yang Feng unhurriedly took out a square palm-sized iron box and pressed it lightly. The iron box flickered and condensed into a 2-meter-tall middle-aged man's phantom in the void. The phantom was dressed in a silver-white warlock's robe with a silver line embroidered on the cuffs of the robe. Yang Feng bowed slightly towards the middle-aged man's phantom in the sky and said, "Uncle, this is Ban Tanya, the first successor of Ditania Duchy's Sanger clan. He made a vicious and racist speech towards us. On behalf of Steel City, I have officially declared war on Ditania Duchy. Before exterminating Sanger clan, I will not withdraw my troops." One after another, gazes concentrated on that Steel Lord Yang Yi fabricated by Yang Feng. In Turandot subcontinent, Only those forces with level 3 warlocks and above could contend against a mechanical golem legion of 100,000 comparable to a knight rank. Only peak warlock forces with great warlocks standing guard could have a surefire grasp of victory. In the Southern States Alliance, only Warlock College and Talia had a few great warlock rank experts. The strongest of the other forces merely had level 3 warlocks standing guard. Steel City was already considered a pivotal force in the Southern States Alliance, its every move raising eyebrows. Bantanya looked at Yang Ye's phantom in midair. His complexion paled and his body trembled, as if awaiting judgment. That beautiful young lady with a superior level 6 spirit aptitude also stared at Yang Ye's phantom in midair, her beautiful eyes flashing with a touch of hatred. Yang Ye's phantom in midair nodded slightly and said with a trace of tenderness, "You did the right thing. I'll issue a declaration of war to Dutania Duchy. Moreover, I'll immediately dispatch troops to attack Dutania Duchy and exterminate Sanger clan. All the forces allied with Dutania Duchy, my mechanical golem legion will ruthlessly destroy them all. Leave no one alive." Yang Ye's phantom pointed towards Bantania's small group and said in a voice brimming with cruelty and killing intent, "As for you, staying together with this Sanger clan's trash, do you want to take your clan to advance and retreat together with him and engage in a life-and-death battle with Steel City?" An aristocratic youngster standing next to Bantanya courteously saluted Yang Ye's phantom and said, "Respected Steel City's City Master Darren, I'm Marcus, the 8th successor of Rex Duchy's Patania clan. Today is the first time I've met Bantanya. We don't have a deep friendship. My clan also doesn't want to be enemies with you." Finished speaking, Marcus immediately separated himself from the small group and walked to the side, watching indifferently from the sidelines. Respected Steel City's City Master Darren, one by one, the members of the small group stepped forward and saluted respectfully towards Yang Ye's phantom, then left Bantania's side. The members of the small group were elites from various clans. Although they were filled with disdain and discrimination towards Yang Feng and the other Orientals, but they wouldn't easily show it. Especially when facing a formidable warlock capable of killing a level 2 warlock, they would remain humble. In front of a warlock, mortals must remain humble. This was the first rule in all of Tyrandot subcontinent's national laws. If this rule was violated, then even if an aristocrat was killed by an official warlock, the law wouldn't be able to punish the official warlock. This was the world of warlocks. Chapter 46. That incomparably beautiful young lady with a superior level 6 spirit aptitude also slightly bowed towards Yang Ye's projection in salute and said faintly, "Respected Steel City's City Master Darren, I'm Jessica, Fernandro Principality's Fernandro clan's 3rd successor. Our clan also doesn't want to be enemies with you." No matter how much Jessica hated Yang Yi, she still had to remain humble in front of a formidable official warlock. Otherwise Steel City would find an excuse to continue waging war. The war with Steel City had already damaged Fernandro clan's vitality. Jessica was also very clear about Steel City's strength. A knight-rank mechanical golem legion, even if Fernandro clan and Sanger clan joined forces, they still wouldn't necessarily be its match. Finished speaking, Jessica also left Bantania's side under his somewhat despairing gaze. The small group fell apart, leaving only the high-spirited Bantanya, who wanted to show off in front of the beauty a moment ago, standing there alone. A teacher in charge of aptitude testing stood up and asked Yang Ye's projection with a gloomy expression, "Yang Yi, I'm Warlock College Antalia's teacher Yuri, a level 1 warlock. Titania Principality is an important member of our Southern States Alliance. Southern States Alliance prohibits waging war for no reason. Could it be that you want to violate our Warlock College Antalia's laws?" Southern States Alliance was Warlock College Antalia's foundation. Warlock College Antalya basically didn't allow the Southern States Alliance to mutually attack each other and consume their strength. Yang Ye's projection swept Yuri with a glance and said coldly, "Yuri, I have no intention of violating Warlock College Antalya's laws. However, this mortal ant has insulted me. A warlock's dignity can't be violated. In order to uphold a warlock's dignity, I have the right to retaliate against him and his clan. I've decided to destroy him and his clan. Only then can I quell my anger. Anyone who obstructs my revenge is my enemy. No matter who. Yuri choked at once and sunk into silence. Tyrannid subcontinent was a continent where warlocks occupied a dominant position. A warlock's dignity couldn't be violated. Any mortal who insulted a warlock's dignity would suffer the warlock's terrifying retaliation. This was also a warlock's right. Bantania's spirit aptitude was as high as intermediate level 5, and he possessed the strength of a high-level warrior. He could already be considered a genius among mortal youths. But a mortal genius was still a mortal, he wasn't a warlock. Once he insulted a warlock, then it was reasonable for Yang Feng to destroy his family. Bantania's eyes surged with a hint of despair, and he said with a somewhat hoarse voice, "Great Steel Lord, I didn't insult you. I swear on my life that I have absolutely no intention of insulting you." Yang Feng took the initiative to step forward and distort the truth. "Uncle." He said that we Easterners are yellow-skinned monkeys, only fit to eat bananas in cages, don't have the qualifications to become warlocks, and also don't have the qualifications to join Warlock College Antalya. Yang Yi coldly looked at Bantania and said extremely callously, "This is Warlock College Antalya, no one can make a move here. I won't make a move against you here. But as long as you leave Warlock College Antalya, then our Steel City's 100,000 Mechanical Golem Legion will act and obliterate you from this world." Bantania knelt on the ground and cried hoarsely, "Great Steel Lord Yang Yi, I beg you, please let me go. I really didn't mean it. I apologize. Yang Feng, I apologize. I beg you to spare my life, please let me go." Yang Feng didn't even give Bantania a glance. Tyrannid subcontinent was dominated by Caucasians. It was very difficult for Easterners to integrate into the mainstream society. As long as Yang Feng showed a bit of weakness, then he would be bullied and humiliated. He didn't want to be bullied. Furthermore, if he could seize the opportunity to annex Titania Principality, then his forces could once again obtain a huge expansion. Currently, Yang Feng's territory already bordered Savage Claw's Denizia Empire and Rose Garden's Rose Empire, one of the 6 great warlock groups. If he wanted to expand his territory, then he could only attack Denizia Empire or Rose Empire. If Savage Claw didn't dispatch a great warlock rank expert, then Yang Feng still had the assurance to fight against Denizia Empire. But once Savage Claw dispatched a great warlock rank expert, then his chances of victory would drop to the lowest point. Under such circumstances, it was very difficult for Yang Feng to expand. Now that he had the opportunity to expand, he naturally wouldn't easily let it go. At this moment, a terrifying pressure gushed out from inside Warlock College Antalya and shrouded the land. Under that terrifying pressure, everyone present had their complexions pale and their bodies tremble. Yang Feng's complexion also changed greatly under that terrifying pressure, his whole body brimming with fear, and he almost couldn't help but kneel. At this moment, the level 1 secret treasure green heart on Yang Feng's chest that resembled a green leaf blossomed with traces of green radiance, weakening that terrifying pressure by more than 50%. Only then was he barely able to withstand that terrifying pressure and didn't make a fool of himself on the spot and kneel on the ground. A gate appeared out of thin air. When the gate opened, gusts of fishy wind gushed out of the gate, and a scarlet hand extended from the gate and grabbed Yang Feng before entering the gate. As soon as Yang Feng entered the gate closed and disappeared from the air. Yang Feng's vision blurred, then he saw himself appear in a hall. In the center of the hall sat a silver-haired middle-aged man, as if a sun, his body blossomed with incomparably terrifying fluctuations of power. Yang Feng glanced at the silver-haired middle-aged man, his eyes ached, as if looking straight at the sun, he couldn't see anything. "I'm Scarlet Hand's Blitz." A formidable and refreshing power suddenly entered Yang Feng's body, poured into his eyes and soothed the pain in his eyes. Simultaneously, a dull voice sounded in the hall. Yang Feng's eyes flowed with tears, his heart shivered. "Scarlet Hand's Blitz, Warlock College Antalya's most formidable level 3 warlock, the man closest to a great warlock. He's really too powerful." Yang Ye's embodiment of a phantom slightly saluted Blitz and said respectfully, "I'm Steel City's City Master Yang Yi. Greetings, Blitz Darren." Blitz announced in a dull yet extremely overbearing manner, "I already know what happened. Steel City is not allowed to wage war against Titania Principality." Chapter 47. Yang Yi fell silent for a moment before replying respectfully, "As you command. However, please allow my city of steel to wage war against the Sanger clan." Blitz said coldly, "No." Anger welled up in Yang Feng's heart. Under his order, Yang Ye's projection fell into endless silence, not agreeing as readily as a moment ago. Blitz said indifferently, "I can let the Sanger family compensate you. 10,000 magic stones. I will make them pay you 10,000 magic stones for their stupidity." 10,000 magic stones were equivalent to 1,000,000 gold coins. Fernandro Principality was defeated by Yang Feng, and the war reparations they paid were merely 300,000 magic stones. The huge war reparations of 300,000 magic stones had already pressured the Fernandro clan to the point of suffocation. For a warlock group like Sanger clan that doesn't control a state, 1 magic stone is definitely a huge sum. Yang Ye's image said respectfully, "I don't need magic crystals. I just want you to promise me 3 things. First, let my nephew enter Warlock College Antalia's Secret Arts Pagoda and choose a secret art that can promote him to a great warlock. Second, please give my nephew a bottle of Mermaid Tears potion. Third, Bantania's head. Fourth, please let one of my nieces be exempted from the entrance examination." Warlock College Antalia's Secret Arts Pagoda contained countless secret arts. There was no lack of secret arts that could allow one to advance to a great warlock. The reason why Warlock College Antalya was able to become one of Tyrannid subcontinent's 6 great overlord rank forces was because of their several thousand years of inheritance of great warlocks that had never been severed. Even when they were at their weakest, they still had 2 great warlocks keeping watch. One of the important reasons was that there were countless secret techniques in the Secret Technique Tower, allowing those geniuses to choose different secret techniques to cultivate according to their actual situation. The Mermaid Tears potion was an alchemy potion that could change a cultivator's soul aptitude. It was of a higher grade than the Blue Mirage Demon Maiden, and was more difficult to refine. Each bottle was worth more than 8,000 gold coins, and there was no market for it. Although the Blue Mirage potion was rare, it could still be bought from the market from time to time. On the other hand, the Mermaid Tears potion would only occasionally appear in auctions or black markets. Warlock College Antalya's Mermaid Tears were basically all directly bought by the major official warlocks. Very few of them were sold outside. Although Yang Feng obtained a huge amount of magic stones, but he still didn't have the means to buy such a rare elixir as Mermaid Tears. Blitz's eyebrows creased slightly as he said in a deep voice, "If your nephew Yang Feng signs a soul contract, he's not allowed to impart that secret method to anyone, including you. Then I can agree to your request." Yang Feng's soul aptitude was only inferior level 1. From Blitz's point of view, even if Yang Yi tried his best to collect potions that could increase his soul aptitude, he would at most be able to increase his soul aptitude to around rank 3. With a soul aptitude of around level 3, even if one had a great warlock rank secret method inheritance, one would at most be a level 3 apprentice warlock, and even promoting to an official warlock would be very difficult. Yang Ye's projection said respectfully, "All right. I'll make him sign a soul contract, and I'll never teach that secret technique to anyone." Standing respectfully aside, the corners of Yang Feng's mouth curved slightly and his eyes flashed with a smile. "Sign this soul contract." Blitz took out a soul contract drawn from an unknown formidable monster skin and handed it to Yang Feng. Yang Feng carefully examined that soul contract for a moment. Only after he didn't discover any traps did he sign his name on it. After Yang Feng signed his name, that piece of hide immediately combusted and turned into a gloomy blue flame without any temperature. That gloomy blue flame suddenly flew out and at once disappeared into the space between Yang Feng's eyebrows. Blitz threw a silver badge at Yang Feng and said faintly, "After you've officially promoted to an apprentice warlock, take this badge and you can enter the Secret Arts Pagoda." With your current physical constitution, as long as you enter the secret arts pagoda, then you'll die. You won't even have the qualifications to receive the secret method inheritance. Warlocks' secret treasures, every one of them possessed unimaginably formidable powers. Mortals were basically unable to come into contact with Warlock's secret treasures and domains. The Secret Arts Pagoda was one of Warlock College Antalia's core areas. It had the defensive power of countless secret treasures. Just a trace of fluctuations of power emitted by those secret treasures could easily kill an ordinary person like Yang Feng. Yang Feng respectfully saluted Blitz and said, "Many thanks, Blitz Darren." Blitz swept Yang Feng with an ice-cold glance, then casually waved his hand and a huge door once again appeared. A scarlet hand appeared out of thin air, grabbed Yang Feng and directly threw him inside the door. Yang Feng only felt a burst of dizziness. His eyes lit up and he once again appeared at Warlock College Antalia's test site. At Warlock College Antalia's test site, youngsters from Southern States Alliance looked at Yang Feng's figure. Their eyes flashed with a touch of dread. No one dared to talk about him in private anymore. Yang Feng swept the surroundings with a glance and discovered that Ban Tanya had already disappeared. Jessica, who came from Fernandro family, was fiercely glaring at him. Without an excuse, even if Steel City's strength was far more tyrannical than Fernandro family's, it still couldn't act against Fernandro family. Otherwise, even if it was a provocation of Warlock College Antalia's laws, when the time came, in order to maintain Warlock College Antalia's dignity, they would definitely dispatch countless experts to deal with Yang Feng's Steel City. Yang Feng didn't pay attention to Jessica. He stood alone at the test site. At the place where they passed the test, many young aristocratic boys and girls from the Southern States Alliance had formed small circles. None of the small circles took the initiative to approach Yang Feng. Yang Feng's strong performance a moment ago made many aristocratic youngsters from Southern States Alliance feel conflicted. Although they didn't dare to confront him, but they still used their actions to silently resist Yang Feng. Yang Feng didn't care about the joint resistance of those youngsters. The reason why he took such a huge risk to come to Warlock College Antalya was to cultivate the Warlock path. If he could promote to a great Warlock rank expert in the future, then even if he was an Easterner, there would still be countless people who would come to curry favor with him. Shui didn't even need to have her soul aptitude tested. She was directly exempted from the entrance exam and stood beside Yang Feng. The gazes of the youngsters concentrated on Shui standing beside Yang Feng. Many aristocratic youngsters had a favorable impression of her. Only because they were afraid of Yang Feng standing beside her, no one dared to harass her. Chapter 48. After the first round of screening, there were a total of more than 5,000 students whose spirit aptitudes met the standard. The majority of the students' spirit aptitudes were at level 4. The second round of screening was issued almost immediately after the first round of screening. 4,000 of the more than 5,000 students were eliminated, leaving only 1,000 students. Among them, not a single student with a level 5 or higher spirit aptitude was eliminated. Only level 4 spirit aptitude students would have to rely on their background and connections to obtain the qualifications to enter Warlock College Antalya to study. Commoner students without any background, unless they possessed a level 5 or higher spirit aptitude. Otherwise, it was basically impossible to enter Warlock College Antalya to study. If Yang Feng was under normal circumstances, then he basically wouldn't have the qualifications to enter Warlock College Antalya to study. Congratulations, you've already passed the first round of screening. You can obtain the qualifications to enter Warlock College Antalya to study. You have 3 years' time to learn all kinds of knowledge here. After 3 years, there will be another screening. Those who haven't promoted to a level 1 apprentice warlock will all be eliminated. Work harder. The next day after passing the screening, all the students were summoned to Warlock College Antalya's large public square. An official warlock wearing a black POW expressionlessly made the above speech. After that warlock wearing a black POW finished speaking, one after another, the students who were 1 year older than Yang Feng immediately walked towards them. Hello, I'm Betty, a senior sister who is 1 year older than you. Excuse me, are you the Steel Lord's nephew Yang Feng and his niece Shui? A beautiful woman with blonde hair, a fiery and sensual figure, a few freckles on her face, fair skin. A beautiful and sensual woman walked towards Yang Feng and asked with a smile. As soon as Betty approached, she carefully looked at the peerlessly beautiful Xianxia. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of jealousy. The smile on her face was extremely sweet. Yang Feng said with a slight smile, "That's right, I'm Yang Feng, this is my younger sister Xianxia." Betty said with a slight smile, "The college arranged for me to show you the way and act as a guide. To let you have a basic understanding of Warlock College and Talia. Please follow me." Yang Feng nodded. He brought Xianxia and followed behind Betty towards Warlock College and Talia. Our Warlock College and Talia is divided into outer court and inner court. The outer court students are those who haven't reached apprentice warlock rank like us. The inner court is the place where elite students who have already promoted to apprentice warlocks study and live. Before being summoned, we can't go to the inner courtyard. Otherwise, we will be punished. Betty took Yang Feng's duo on a stroll, while explaining to them the various taboos of Warlock College and Talia. Warlock College and Talia's hierarchy was strict. Official warlocks as well as apprentice warlocks all resided in the large energy-absorbing ancient tree in the inner court. Warlock College and Talia's inner court was always shrouded in a formidable energy force field. That energy force field separated Warlock College and Talia's inner court and outer court. The inner court was enveloped in an incomparably powerful elemental force. Cultivating in the inner court was far more beneficial than cultivating in the outer court. The inner court was where Warlock College and Talia's essence lay. As Betty explained, she handed over a price list to Yang Feng. Studying in Warlock College and Talia, none of the knowledge is free. Here is the price list and timetable for learning various subjects. Continent's Common Language, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Divine Language, 100 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Draconic Language, 100 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Fiend Language, 100 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Elven Language, 100 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Planar Studies, 200 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Mathematics, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Geometry, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Etiquette, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Close Combat Techniques, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Politics, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. Basic Tactics, 20 gold coins per lesson hour. The price list was densely packed with all kinds of subjects. Each subject required the payment of a large amount of gold coins. Ordinary commoners simply couldn't afford to learn them. Even aristocrats would have a headache when they saw the amount of gold coins needed to learn those subjects. Zhao Jiang was a minor aristocrat. The income of several generations was only enough to learn 4 classes of basic fiend language. This was the reason why knowledge was so expensive in this world. In Tyrannid subcontinent, knowledge was firmly grasped in the hands of greater aristocrats with warlock bloodline. Ordinary commoners, unless they had a heaven-defying soul aptitude and were lucky enough to obtain a warlock's inheritance, otherwise, it would be very difficult for them to make a name for themselves. Body Warlock Cultivation Intermediate Secret Art, 10,000 gold coins or 90 inferior magic stones, can be cultivated until level 3 apprentice warlock rank. Yang Feng's gaze fell on the last row. His eyebrows creased slightly as he said, Body Warlock Cultivation Secret Art requires so much gold coins. How could ordinary commoners have so much money to learn this secret art? Betty said with a slight smile. Warlock College and Talia provides a loan service. Every student who exchanges for Body Warlock Cultivation Method can provide a 3-year interest-free loan. Other knowledge can be freely imparted, but once Body Warlock Cultivation Method is found to be imparting without permission, then the student will automatically become a slave of Warlock College and Talia and be at the mercy of the college. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a whiff of admiration. He silently thought, such a brilliant method. In this way, just from the tuition fees, Warlock College and Talia can easily receive more than 90,000 magic stones every year. Knowledge is wealth, knowledge is power. This is vividly reflected in Tyrannid subcontinent. Yang Feng looked at those densely packed courses labeled with prices, his heart brimming with joy. Fortunately, I have Steel City's wealth as my backing. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be able to afford to learn this knowledge. Betty reminded, those ordinary commoner students who lack money, they can go to the mission hall to accept missions. However, those missions are extremely dangerous for us students who haven't even reached the apprentice warlock rank. It's best if you don't accept them. Yang Feng nodded slightly. Steel City's sphere of influence was nearly equivalent to half of Fernandro Principality. It would bring him a huge amount of wealth every day. He naturally wouldn't go and accept dangerous missions. Before promoting to an official warlock, he wasn't interested in going out and taking risks. Betty kindly reminded, among these courses, apart from Body Warlock Cultivation Secret Art, after passing the examination of each of the other courses, if you pass the examination, then you'll get 1 credit point. If you pass the examination, then you'll get 5 credit points. 100 credit points can be used to exchange for a level 0 spell model. Of course, if you use the purchase method, then a level 0 spell would require 20 inferior magic stones. Basic Divine Language, Basic Fiend Language, Basic Dragon Language, Basic Elven Language, these are the prerequisite subjects for learning a lot of formidable spells. Mathematics and geometry are the key to constructing spell models. Basic Biology is the prerequisite subject for variation and blood meridian variation. If you want to become an official warlock, then you should start to consider the direction of your development and learn the corresponding prerequisite subjects. Chapter 49. Yang Feng said with a slight smile, "Many thanks for your reminder." "All right, Tip." Betty gave a slight smile and extended her small hand towards Yang Feng. "Warlock College and Talia's human resources are very valuable. According to the usual practice, I'll act as your guide, so you should pay me a corresponding tip. According to the usual practice, it should be 2 gold coins, but since you're pleasing to the eye, I'll be fine with 1 gold coin. Let's be friends." "Alright." Yang Feng gave a hearty smile, casually fished out a magic stone and placed it in Betty's hand. "This is a magic stone." Betty saw the small inferior magic stone in her hand. She was somewhat excited, yet somewhat restless. Her voice trembled, her pretty face flashed with a touch of struggle. Then she solemnly returned the magic stone to Yang Feng. "This magic stone is too precious. My service isn't worth a magic stone." Apprentice warlock rank experts could slowly absorb the magic energy emitted by magic stones and upgrade their physical constitution. Moreover, magic stones could also be used as the energy core of a variety of golems, materials for a variety of elixirs, fodder for raising a variety of freaks, and energy source for a variety of runic magic arrays. Magic stones had such a wide range of uses, moreover they were consumables. Therefore, even though magic stone or veins were continuously discovered, but the price of magic stones was still slowly increasing. The price of a magic stone was equivalent to 100 gold coins. That was the price of gold coins to purchase magic stones. In fact, if one used gold coins to purchase a magic stone from an exchange merchant, then it would cost at least 140 gold coins. In some remote areas where magic stones were scarce, a magic stone could even be sold for more than 200 gold coins. Warlock College Antalya was rich in magic stones, but if one wanted to purchase a magic stone from a shop, then it would still cost 135 gold coins. Betty wasn't even an apprentice warlock. That magic stone was still very precious for her. Yang Feng gave a smile and handed the magic stone to Betty. "I think your service is worth this price." Betty's pretty face was slightly red. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of peculiarity. She gave a sweet smile towards Yang Feng and gave him a small slip of paper. "Thank you. If you have any questions, you can come to this room to find me." Finished speaking, Betty turned around and left with large strides. Shue's black and white gemstone-like beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of demonic charm. She said towards Yang Feng with a light smile, "Goody, this gold digger Betty is obviously moved by you. As long as you throw more magic stones at her, she will easily open her thighs and become your toy. What are you thinking about in that little brain of yours? This time, I came to Warlock College Antalya in order to study the Warlock path. Yang Feng flicked Shishue's forehead and said with a slight headache. Through these days of getting along, Yang Feng discovered that Shishue, this little lowly born from the taboo stone, not only was she exceptionally talented, but she was also mischievous and had traces of evil aura, giving him some headaches. Don't flick my forehead. I'm not a child anymore. If you flick my forehead again, then I'll ignore you. Shishue slapped away Yang Feng's big hand and somewhat angrily glared at him. But she was too adorable. Her glare didn't have any power, it just made Yang Feng feel funny. Yang Feng said with a light smile, "Let's go back." "Alright." Shishue nodded, as if a small tail following behind Yang Feng. She walked towards Yang Feng's room. Warlock College Antalya occupied an extremely vast area. The number of student dormitories in the college was also extremely large. Basically everyone had a dormitory. Of course, the accommodation fee wasn't cheap. Just the accommodation fee alone would cost 500 gold coins per year. Of course, those commoner students could also choose those large dormitories with a few dozen people squeezing into a room. That accommodation fee would only cost 10 gold coins per year. Yang Feng possessed Steel City's wealth. Naturally, he and Shishue each rented a large dormitory with a bathroom, toilet, and kitchen. Shortly after Yang Feng returned to the dormitory, a knock came from outside the door. "Hello, may I ask if it's Yang Feng? I've come to deliver the goods you've deposited in Warlock College Antalya." Yang Feng opened the door and saw a youngster dressed in an ordinary student attire standing outside the door, holding a box in both hands. "These are 10 bottles of Blue Mirage. This is a black magic crystal card. You can use this magic crystal card to withdraw the corresponding magic stones from each of Warlock College Antalya's major banks. However, I must remind you, if you want to withdraw a large amount of magic stones exceeding 50,000, then please make an appointment with the bank in advance. Otherwise, the small bank branches might not have enough magic stones for you to withdraw. It's best to make an appointment 5 days in advance." The youngster spoke as he opened the box, revealing 10 extremely beautiful vials of elixirs blossoming with a bright blue radiance as well as a black magic crystal card. The youngster looked at the 10 vials of elixirs and that magic crystal card. His eyes flashed with a whiff of greed, then he quickly recovered his calm. In this Warlock College Antalya, as long as he made the slightest movement, then he would be consigned to eternal damnation. He would be reduced to a warlock's human experiment subject, unable to live or die. Yang Feng received the 10 vials of elixir and immediately pulled the cork of a vial of Blue Mirage. From that vial of Blue Mirage, traces of blue radiance drifted out, condensing in midair into the image of a beautiful and moving young lady. That young lady's image looked pitifully at Yang Feng and that youngster. Her cherry small mouth continuously opened and closed as if saying something. Yang Feng looked at that young lady's image suspended in the blue void. His eyes flashed with a whiff of admiration. This is Blue Mirage. Warlock's methods are really mysterious. After inspecting the 10 vials of Blue Mirage and the magic crystal card, Yang Feng accepted the 10 vials of Blue Mirage and the magic crystal card, then conveniently gave the delivery man a tip of 2 gold coins. "This is for you." Yang Feng returned to his room, then threw 3 vials of Blue Mirage to Shishue. Shishue swept the 3 vials of Blue Mirage with a glance. She smiled happily, then directly returned the 3 vials of Blue Mirage to Yang Feng. "No need, Gidge. My soul aptitude is as high as superior level 8. If I want to continue upgrading my soul aptitude, then the treasures I need aren't as inferior as Blue Mirage. This Blue Mirage, Gidge needs it more." Yang Feng smiled, then once again handed the 3 vials of Blue Mirage to Shishue. "It doesn't matter, before you develop a resistance, you can use Blue Mirage. In any case, I'll have a lot of this elixir in the future." N. 3796, Analyze Blue Mirage. Yang Feng threw another vial of Blue Mirage to a humanoid robot standing to the side and ordered. Mechanical tentacles extended from the humanoid robot and entered the Blue Mirage potion. Starting the analysis of the elixir. Carrying out the feasibility analysis. The elixir can be analyzed and synthesized. Starting the model analysis. Analysis progress at 0.1%. With the current computing power, it's estimated that the elixir can be completely analyzed after 5 days. N. A 3796 quickly fed back a series of information. Welcome to Immortal Cultivation Audiobooks, your gateway to the mystical world of Xianxia. Dive into legendary tales of martial arts, spiritual growth, and immortal ascension. Here, we bring you full-length English audiobooks of the best Wuxia and Xianxia stories, from young prodigies to ancient sect wars. Perfect for fans of Against the Gods, martial world, and tales of demons and gods.